Hi Tarot Tribe, it's Ethany and we are on day 21. Doot doot. We are rounding the last week and a bit of 31 days of tarot. And you know what, I had this moment when I was getting all these guidebooks ready to talk about, because this is what the prompt is today. I'm like, hot damn, this is a lot of work. I forgot how much creation there is in this, so I really do appreciate everyone's contribution to this challenge and for making it just not just me in the corner of the internet talking about this stuff. All right, so today's prompt is: do you read your little white books, tarot and oracle guidebooks? How do you use them? What do you do when the information seems to contradict the reading? Okay, so first I want to talk about the first section of that. Do I read the little white books? Not usually. Now, little white books, I don't actually have many of them, to be fair. Let's see if I can find one. Amongst the million decks that I've got in my little white books are like the little, most of my decks are like indie decks, or they don't have the little white book. Maybe this one has it. I get all these ones ready and then I don't even get, oh look, it does. So this is the miniature Rider-Waite-Smith. So cute. And this is what we would say. Now this is a little white book. Okay, like that's the little white book. Now I know I've spoken to like clients of mine when I did the Prince Lenormand Oracle, and they were like, oh gosh, I needed to use a magnifying glass. So that's one of the reasons why I made the Awakened Soul one so much bigger. And I also like the idea of having a PDF for people, just in case they can't read what's on the... So I don't usually read the little white book because they kind of get stuck in the box. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of information in there. I just don't do it. I don't know. Do you guys read it? I mean, I asked you that question. But I do read tarot and oracle guidebooks. I do love, especially the bigger ones, the ones that look juicier. And I just have some really good examples of them and why I read them and how I use them. So there are a number of ways that I use it. I could, for myself, let's back that up. Reading for other people for me often comes much easier than reading for myself. I find that at times I'm too close to myself. I'm too invested in myself. I'm too invested in the outcome of my life that I can tend to be a little bit biased. So I love reading other guidebooks to expand my understanding of maybe what it is, and to have me get out of my own head about what my assumptions are about the card or my biases are about the card and the reading. And I also really like just seeing people's perspectives and my peers' perspectives on the tarot. Like, I think it's so fantastic. And another thing that I may do as well is I may open up a card, and I may use it as a form of divination for myself. So if I'm stuck, or if I'm just having a moment where I just kind of need a bit of inspiration and I'm feeling a little bit blocked, I might just open that up. And we got the 9 of Water. So looking at emotional fulfillment, dreams and manifestation, mystical experience. A song of praise fills your heart at this time. What song of praise fills your heart at this time? So then it has an affirmation here. True happiness is found in my connection to spirit. So maybe that's what I needed in the moment, or it can help me kind of unblock whatever is being blocked. So I also use it as a source of inspiration and divination, just as its own piece of work. Now I do not take guidebooks into readings with me, with clients. I never do. I don't use them for Oracle Wednesday. I write everything myself. But when I'm studying the deck or I'm doing a reading for myself, I certainly I certainly do use it. Now, some of my favorite ones are these ones, and I want to show you why, because these guidebooks offer all different perspectives and all different ways in which you can look at the tarot and the oracle texts beyond like keywords or what you already know or are getting from the images intuitively or through the connections of what you know about the symbols. Now, before I kind of go through the list of some of these notables that I've picked out, it's not by far, it's not the only ones I use, because I have a big collection. What do I do when the information seems to contradict the reading? I always go with my intuition. I always go with what feels right, and I always check in with what feels right. And if it doesn't, I then have to sit with that and sort of go, okay, why doesn't it? Does it not feel right because I want to hear something different, or I want to be able to say something different to my clients? Or am I getting the true intuitive hit that it doesn't feel right because it isn't right? I have been talking for 6 hours straight, so my throat is getting a little bit sore. Okay, so let's have a look at some of these books. So I love the Guidebooks Tarot guidebook. Now I'm just going to make sure that I didn't... Okay, so I love that she talks about themes in the major arcana, the symbols in the major arcana. This is by Joanna Powell Colbert, who is the artist and creator of the Guidebooks Tarot. This is the Schiffer published. I have both. I have the Llewellyn one, which is like right there, and this one, but I wanted to show you this one because it's the one that's in print and available. I love that she groups it together as a part of numerology, so you can look at what the sixes mean together, the sevens. She has affirmations, the shadow when you get into a reading, and she talks about the actual art in the card, and being the creator makes it even more stunning. She's got spreads, it's color, it's just so beautiful to read through. Another one that I love is the Druidcraft Tarot. Now I have 2 copies of this deck. I have the small boxed version with a smaller book, and this one that I got back in 1998, I believe, when this deck first came out. Oh no, 2004. When this deck first came out. Anyway, this is like a first edition. This is a first edition. Of this deck, and I love, you know, I mean, if you guys all know me, so you know how much I love this deck anyway. But yeah, it's got such a great way of looking at the tarot. Talks about the art of the card, the significance, the message that comes from the card, the meaning, there's keywords. There are a few cards that are not traditional. They've changed it, but that's great. So they've got, smashed myself in the face with it. They talk about different sections. They have the kings, the queens, the pages, the knights, the aces. So they also bunch together through numerology. It's such a juicy guidebook. I love it. One of my favourite decks of last year and one of my favourite guidebooks of last year was the Animal Totem Tarot by Lisa Roberts. It's so great. It has a messenger from each of the animals. Talks about the behaviours, environments, and how that connects with the tarot card. Business, career, family, relationships, health and well-being, journal prompts for the major arcana. Yeah, it's just really, really, really good. Actually, they have journal prompts for everything, and then you have space in it too. But one of the things that I really love about the way that she's written this is there's so much juicy information about the actual animals. So the honeypot ant have social structures among the worker ants that allow them to always be fed even when food is not readily available within the harsh desert conditions they live in. The worker ants select the largest among them and begin force feeding them water and nectar. This sweet syrup blend is stored in a specifically designed abdomen of the ant. Once these ants are full, they are moved to the top of the nest where they spend the rest of their lives hanging upside down, regurgitating nectar for the rest of the colony. Talk about a life of sacrifice, service, and surrender. Like it's really well fucking written. And I really, really like it a lot. So I adore this for the fact that I work with this deck a lot. And, you know, sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, so why did you choose, you know, the Sugar Glider for the Six of Swords? Why did you, it was like the Queen of Cups was the first time I really, really looked at this book. It's like, why did you choose the Moose? And then I read it and I'm like, I mean, you know, the Eight of Wands, I get the horse, you know, the Lovers, I get the swans. But yeah, brilliant. Just made me think of animals in a different way and the tarot a different way, and gives me a really good way of expanding my knowledge of the tarot. Another amazing one is the Bonefire Tarot by Gabby. Gabby. She's got all of her symbols in there. I love this deck. I've got both editions. She's got questions in there. Yeah, it's a beautiful, I guess a lot of these, like, I mean, I know through the internets and my relationship with, like, I know Gabby and I know Joanna quite well. So I love reading other people's, like, oh, that's what they think. And talking with someone else that I know through the internet. So I've got Laura, a letter from Inner Hugh. And I love reading, like, how she views the tarot. You know, it's different and it's just interesting. This is probably one of the best guidebooks ever. I've never met Carol Bridges, but holy shit, this book is fantastic. This book is, the deck and guidebook is very hard to come by. It's a collector's edition now. I ordered this directly from the US Game Systems website, and this deck has its own system, which is based on the traditional tarot, but it's she's just so much knowledge in here. And I love, for personal work, I love this deck and this book. So there's that one. And then another one that has a unique perspective is the Spellcaster's Handbook, because it has magical uses and everything, and that's really cool, being a witchy poo myself. You know, I obviously have a specific way in which I would view the tarot for magic, but it's also very cool to see someone else talk about it and their own perspective of magic and the tarot as well. And there's a bunch of spells in here, and yeah, it's pretty cool. So I use them in a lot of ways. Inspiration, its own source of divination, gets me to expand my knowledge. It gets me unstuck in my own way. But above all, everything else, I trust my own intuition, my own instinct when it comes to what if it's contradictory. I always go with my intuition with that. And then I check my intuition to make sure it's not just me wanting to hear something else. So that is day 21, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.